Hello, everybody. My name's Rob, and well, if you haven't seen it, I've been doing a lot of Aura History Untold content, specifically my Let's Play, a beginner guide, and some other stuff that I'm hoping to put out here in the future. But we have a different kind of video today. We are getting, I should say, our very first major update for Aura History Untold, which I'm incredibly excited about. I have read through these patch notes. And there's a lot of good stuff coming to the game. It shows that Microsoft is committed to making this game better, and I cannot express to you how excited I am. The more I have played Aura, the more I have really come to enjoy the different intricacies and the things that are very different about it than Civilization. It still feels like a Civ game, but it has been very different, to say the least. But maybe, I don't know, about a month or so after the original release, we are getting our first update. So we're going to dive into it. I'm going to give you my thoughts on each section. Let me know in the comment section below which part of this update you are most excited for. I will let you guys know that at the end of this video. And make sure to like and subscribe. If it's your first time here, we're going to continue to put out different Aura History Untold videos. We're going to continue to put out different, strategy games. We've got a bunch of different things going on over there at the Game House. If you like sports, esports, gaming, make sure that you go over there and subscribe so that you can see all that awesome and, in my opinion, fun content as well. But let's stop wasting our time here. Let's get into version 1.1, the major update for Aura History Untold. So they're calling this one the Invisible Hand update, and the goal is that they're enhancing player experience based on our feedback, and I think that it's really cool that they are listening, because I think some of these things are definitely things that I know I've been wanting them to add in the game. And the first one is going to be the national economy screen, which is going to be a game changer, they're calling it, for management. And basically what they're going to be doing is they're going to be streamlining resource management and making it so that we don't have to micromanage nearly as much. That is huge, because I think that's one of the hardest parts about this game, is not only learning all the different resources and what's going to combine into what and what you need to create certain things, but then finding all of it, because it's all over the map. It's in so many different regions, and it makes it just really confusing. Now they're going to have this new screen, which is going to allow you to globally manage crafting, set priorities, automate some of the processes, and we'll have to see really how that feels and looks. I've not had a chance yet to play since this came out. I mean, this came out, I think, less than a half an hour since I've started recording this. So the economy screen, I think, is going to be extremely important for a few reasons. Number one is just going to be the fact that it's going to be easier for not only new players, but it's just going to be easier for even some of the people like myself who have put in many, many hours into the game to really kind of make sure that your economy is going in the right way. Number two is when they add new resources, or when they add new units, or when they add new buildings to the game, right? Triumphs, whatever it's going to be, it's going to make it easier for us to adapt and figure out what we need for it. And I'm hopeful that this screen will look really nice and be easy to follow, because I think one of the great parts about this game is its complexity, but it's also been one of the, I think, reasons why a lot of people have potentially not wanted to play it or have been afraid to get into it. And I can tell you, as somebody who has avidly played games like League of Legends and Civ and all these other complex games for a lot of my life, it's great to have complexity, because it adds so many different opportunities to do things in the game, right? So many different ways to play, but it also takes so much time. And if you just don't have a ton of time, simplifying things, especially something that's as important as econ and crafting in this game, can only be a positive in my mind. You don't want to simplify it to the point where it's just, it takes no thought and you're just going down a path like I think some of Civ has become in the past. But you still want to be able to have that complexity that allows these games to feel fresh when you get into it, and that you know what decisions you're going to make based on who you're playing or based on how the rest of the game is going. So love the national economy update. The next part is going to be John A. McDonald from Canada will be joining the roster, which is I think a really nice little addition here. We did not have Canada in the base game. I will say, I'm just noticing right now that this game is, or that this is potentially showing off some other characters that could be or will be coming into the game. I might have to check on that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because John A. McDonald is up here, but then it looks like we've got maybe Confucius over here, and I'm going to guess maybe Harriet Tubman down here for America. So I don't know if they intended to do that or not, but I'm just now realizing that. So we will have to see. I'm pretty sure I had all of the leaders before this, so maybe they're going to be the next ones coming out. A little bit of a teaser maybe, or a spoiler unintentionally by them, but regardless, we'll talk right now about John A. McDonald of Canada, the new leader of that nation. He's got Boreal Forests, which is a +1 fur per turn, so you're going to want to obviously be in some of the more northern parts of the map, or at least some of the colder parts near the mountains. +3 housing in all cities is honestly kind of insane. That's going to allow for you to have much bigger, more horizontal cities instead of vertical, right? You're going to be building out instead of building up. So nothing really too crazy about that one, but I think that gives you maybe a little bit of an advantage when you're getting newer cities. The other thing is he's going to have disciplined, so military and government production. I'm a little surprised, if I'm being honest with you, about the military improvements. Sorry, just taking a quick drink here. Mostly because of the fact that I don't think Canada is really known for their military, so I'm a little bit surprised by that one, but I guess it's offset here by pacifist, which is a -10 strength to forces outside your own territory. So you're getting a more defensive nation here. And then they also have woodsmen, which is +1 timber from logging camps, similar to what you'll see here with George Washington. I will be honest, this doesn't really do a whole lot for me. They feel a little bit undertuned compared to some of the other nations, and I guess leaders, if you want to separate those, in this game, to be honest with me, or be honest with you, not me. It's a little bit surprising, to be completely honest with you, that they would add this. Maybe it's just that Boreal Forest is really that strong in game. I guess we'll have to see. The +1 fur is good. The +1 timber is good. So you're going to have a lot of opportunities to get a nice economy set up if your cities are settled in the right spots. And like I said, the +3 housing, I think, is insane for being able to get a lot of cities put down and for being able to have them grow a little bit more quickly and a little bit bigger than some of the other places, similar to how Canada is in real life, which I think is great. But I'm not seeing a lot necessarily that gets me excited about John McDonald's addition into this game. We'll have to see. I might try him out on a run. We'll see. What's been more interesting so far has been the Confucius and the Harriet Tubman editions. Maybe I just missed something and they've been added to the game and I just haven't taken a look in a while. But, it is a little bit of a surprise that they would get that added into the game in the way that it is. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Things will, I guess, come out about John McDonald as more people play him, and we'll have to see if it really works out in a good way. So we'll see what happens here. But moving on, we're gonna go to the amenity pack, which is pretty exciting. A dozen new amenities that cover, the technological progress throughout human history. These will give players new tools to shape the development of their nations, expanding on how leaders can shape the lives of their citizens. Whether it's increasing prosperity or improving national stability, the amenity pack is now a valuable new set of assets for strategic depth. Look, that's all well and good, but I can't honestly tell you that I know what that means, just in the sense of, like, it's great that they're adding new amenities. We don't know what they are yet, so until we get a better look at what those are going to be, there's just really not much that we can do about that. I'm intrigued. Helping the technological process or progress of the game, I think, is really important. And hopefully these new amenities will, kind of space things out maybe a little bit better, because I think the tech tree still needs some work, to be honest with you. But for now, we'll kind of just leave that as it is and see what all gets added. Oh, I wanted to go back up here too. I don't know if John McDonald's going to be free or not, to be honest with you. I don't know if he is just coming as a base edition or if he's going to be a DLC. We'll have to see again, along with these potentially 2 new rulers here. Again, I'm guessing Confucius and Harriet Tubman, so we'll have to see. No idea, but we'll keep a look on that as well. This next one I think is super interesting. The Battle Viewer. So what they are doing is they are breaking down. They're actually something that was too simplified, which I think most people would agree. The battle viewer, or the watching of the battles, was a little too simplified. You didn't know what exactly was going on. You just knew that, hey, who's got the more force strength, right? Well, now it looks like they are adding in also what each individual, amount of infantry, cavalry, range, Navy, Air Force, when you get to those areas, what those all look like and how much is being provided in each of these battles. It is important because there is a kind of rock, paper, scissors aspect to the game. So you may have been losing certain battles being like, how, why am I losing so much of here? Or why am I not doing this or that? This is at least going to kind of explain things a little bit better. Where is their strength force? Where is it not, essentially? Where can you have an advantage, right? So even if they were to lose this battle here, although the force multipliers here don't really match up with the Venezuelan or the Palmyran Empire, I don't really know why that's so far off, but regardless, so it's not even doing a great job of showing it in this picture that they're showing with us, or this image, excuse me, but regardless, once you see where it's at, you can reinforce that battle maybe with anti-infantry units, like some more cavalry, some more ranged units. It is interesting. I think it's good. I think it's most important because then you're able to see what the other army has more easily. And I really like that fact because that will add, I think, a new layer of strategy into these battles, which I think is going to be extremely important. But that's not the only thing they added in battling, because while wars, as they say, are not the most important thing, they are still very important. And I wonder how they're going to balance this, but they are adding unit upgrades, bringing your army into the modern age. So you're not going to have to march your army's spearmen with, muskets or whatever, right? Like, they are going to actually be able to be upgraded. What that looks like yet, we don't know exactly. But is it going to be, spearmen go straight into swordsmen go into berserkers, or how is that going to work? We don't really know yet. But that is going to make things a little bit easier in terms of maintaining your army and not having to disband units at weird times, not just having to send in units as just complete, fodder to just get absolutely massacred, really only holding things for like one turn. I think this is a huge, huge update in something that we really need to make sure that they will continue to, I think, improve upon, letting them know, because clearly they're listening to us. This was something I think was frustrating a lot of people. I didn't mind, and I wonder if they're going to balance it by making it take longer to get units, because, in some of my Let's Plays, you can probably see, like, we're producing units in one turn, basically, about midway through the game so far. So it's not a terrible thing in my mind to maybe extend, maybe the resources that it takes to get some of these units, or maybe the amount of time it takes to kind of build these units out, maybe even simplify or making it smaller for the amount of armies that you can have or forces that you can have. We'll have to see. I don't know. The complexities of battle in this game are still something that I'm trying to learn a little bit more about, and I'm hoping that this update up here is going to help with that. And I'm really hoping that this whole bringing your army into the modern age thing will be much easier and allow us to really plan out our armies a little bit better and not lose. Because I think the thing that was most frustrating for me is that you would get, like, I have like a swordsman in one of my games at like level 4, and the fact that I was just eventually going to lose that unit to time, where it would be completely useless, was just a little frustrating. I know that it's, maybe a little bit more realistic, but for a video game, I think it's a good idea for them to add that. We're heading into the last little bits here. The advisor system, I think, is nice. They are adding, some better, I don't know, just making it a little bit easier for us. I'll read this one a little bit more. The tutorial provides new players with a straightforward way to learn the game. The team wanted to provide ongoing advice to players, which I think is probably smart. A new advisor system is included, leveraging the powerful narrative event system. Advisors will offer real-time guidance based on your chosen leader in Paragon. While this initial version will live in a panel, future iterations will make advisors more integrated and visible throughout the gameplay, which I think is great. Again, they are trying to, I think, simplify things for newer players. They want this game to grow. They want it to be able to compete with Civ, which I think it absolutely can do. And adding these types of advisors who are going to help you make decisions, who are going to offer you, suggestions on what you should do in real time as the game is going, can only really and truly help you, and especially help newer players as they get used to the game. I think it's something that Civ does a really good job at. I remember, while I knew how to play Civs, 4, 5, and 6, because I think I started really in 3, having the advisors in every single one of them was really helpful and was able to give me a good idea as to what I needed to learn, what I needed to pay attention to, and then obviously still exploring the game without them doing too much advising was always a positive. But I'm happy about that. I think it's going to be hopeful to hopefully grow the game and continue to get new players, which can only help all of us who love the game already to have them keep putting out updates and making new additions like they've done in this major update. Last couple things here. Modding. Yes, modding is on its way, which I think is going to be fantastic. It looks like so far they are very open to it, which can only be good for this game. I think that this game has an incredible opportunity for modders. We've seen so much with so many other games. Like, again, Civ is the one I think is the easiest one to compare this game to. But a lot of strategy games can get some really cool different leaders and nations. You can have Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or I don't know, Game of Thrones, right, added into this game. And I think it would add a lot of fun, interesting gameplay, and it will allow modders to do some pretty incredible things. So it sounds like there's a 4-phase plan. They're just starting phase 1, it looks like. If you're somebody who's in the modding community, this is a perfect game to mod, and I'm excited to see what people are going to come up with. All right, here is the last big addition, which is going to be the Earth map. So many people have probably been wanting an Earth map. I know I definitely wanted one. The continents are sized to give each nation a bit of breathing room, which I think is fantastic because Europe, as you can already see even in just this game, I'm sure is going to be a little bit... Europe is always, I think, one of the hardest ones to balance in these Earth maps, in these strategy games, just because there are so many different European countries and they're all in such a small space here. France could easily just have that Paris area, and then I bet maybe there's like 3 or 4 different smaller areas here, and that would make up, modern day France basically. So it would create a bit of a problem, and they don't necessarily have a lot of, middle area over here nations right now. So maybe that'll give them cause to add more, but being able to have the Earth map, I think, is really fun. You could kind of pick who you want in there and see how global politics maybe would play out. Who's going to get to America first? Is even America going to be on there? Are you just going to go with the natives and see kind of how things may have played out in North America without any European early influence, right? I love this idea. I know I will definitely be playing an Earth map, maybe Let's Play, but at least one on my own. So very excited about that. It'll be a fun addition to the game, and if nothing else, I think one that can maybe get some players a little bit more interested than they may have been previously. But I guess the roadmap that they give us just a tiny bit of a glimpse into is diplomacy improvements, which I think a lot of people were really hoping maybe this update would have one. I think they kind of mask the fact that they're working on a much bigger strategy with all the things that they added in this one, focusing on the economy and war, giving us a new nation, maybe 3, which we'll talk about maybe in a different video. But it looks like they're going to be doing diplomacy improvements, a map editor, which I think people are going to love. That'll be huge for the modding community and just people in general. Naval, which I think could definitely use a little bit of work. Supply lines and trade routes. Yeah, I would really like trade routes to be upgraded as well. There is no doubt that the beginning parts of this game are just head and shoulders above a lot of other competitors with Civ. I think they have the right ideas right now, and I'm really excited, even just based on this first update, to see what they're going to do next. So yeah, I mean, you guys will have to let me know what you guys think in the comments section below again about these. Give me your favorite one. If I had to pick one, I'm between either the armies into the modern era or the economy screen, and I think I'm gonna pick the bringing the armies into the modern era, just because, again, I think that it was just such a pain to spend all this time building an army and then having to disband it. So at, just maybe 20 turns or 30 turns later, depending on how you are doing in terms of your research. I think that this is going to be a staple part, like a really important pillar, I guess, of the game moving forward. I think it's going to make wars a lot more interesting, a lot easier, even with this little extra addition up here to kind of allow for a little bit more strategy. Because right now it just kind of felt like I'm just going to build the biggest force and throw it at people and just see what happens. And then if they die, so what? I'll just build another army later. Now it's going to attach you, I think, a little bit more to your commanders, to your units. Hey, wow, this spearman unit that I've had since the very beginning of the game is now level 8 or something like that as we head into, whatever era it is, and they're like your special ops units later in the game, but, you can still build new armies to replace them, and, it can potentially even create a snowballing effect, which I think could be also extremely interesting. So this one is definitely my favorite update so far, but I think the economy screen is right behind it. I'm really, really, really excited about that, and I'm hopeful that this is, like I said, just the beginning of major updates for this game. There is so much potential with Aura History Untold, so much. They have a really, I think, great opportunity to continue to update this game and continue to make it a staple part of the community. I don't know that it will push people away from Civ, but it'll give them another option if they want a much more complex game. And if maybe they're just feeling like, if they want to play a more, I guess, simplified version of a game, then they can go and play. I think the way I would compare it, and this is not an insult towards Civ, to be clear, it just kind of depends on the type of game you're wanting to play, but I think Civ is maybe a little bit more of like a Settlers of Catan or a Stratego, right? Maybe some kind of combination of that. Whereas I feel like, right now at least, Aura feels like some version of Risk, where it's a little bit more complex. It's still, relatively simple in certain areas, but I think the complexity is there. Now, I may get absolutely destroyed in the comment section for saying that, Risk is more complex than Settlers of Catan. I might just be oversimplifying it, but I think hopefully you guys will see the point that I am trying to make. So, yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us here as we have talked about this new update. I'm excited to see what you guys think of it. I'm excited to see what comes out of it, and I'm very hopeful that this is only the first of a lot more updates that will come. I wouldn't hate it if they had a new one even early sometime next month, specifically looking at diplomacy, because I think that that's got to be the next major update in my mind. It's got to be diplomacy and trade. I think that those need a major overhaul, and I'm hopeful that with more time and with more player involvement and more excitement surrounding this game as it, I think, continues to grow, at least slowly, I'm hopeful that that will be what will continue to push this game forward and make it a true competitor for Civilization, especially with 7 coming out in just a few months. So, yeah, that's going to do it for us. Make sure to like and subscribe if you've gotten this far and haven't. I'm going to continue to be putting out our History Untold content as it comes out. But, yeah, with that, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.